What's up, guys? This is Courtney, one half of Deconstruction here. I got Bruce and John,
Yo.
and this is another episode of the BODcast. I think episode 23. I
Uh,
might be way
I,
off.
I believe
I
so. Hold
don't
on, I
count.
got the channel.
I
This
don't
will
count them at
be
all.
episode 23.
Hey,
Nice.
Jordan status.
Hmm.
All right. So this episode has been in the making for like damn near a month. But we're terrible and we can't coordinate properly.
Oh shit! It has been a month.
Ouch.
Because originally we were supposed to talk about, I believe, when
Hawkman. Wasn't it Hawkman?
that wasn't the first piece of news. I'm
That
pretty
was
sure.
one. I think we were supposed to talk
okay.
about the Nick Fury show.
Yeah, I think there was
Really?
Nick Fury,
Oh, okay.
and then it might have been the fact that Kang is supposed to be in Ant-Man 3.
Yes. Yeah, that was it.
But anyway, this episode has been a month in the making, and we got some really big news last week that finally, made me kind of ask everybody to set some time aside beforehand
hmm
to actually record. So, in today's episode, we're going to be going over some news. But instead of just going over news, I would like to pose the, I guess, opportunity or the topic to the, or whatever, to the group to actually kind of theorize what's going to be happening with some of the topics that we're talking about. Just to kind of make it a little bit interesting and not just a whole, oh, we're just hitting news beats and shit like that.
Yeah.
So let's start off with some of the smaller stuff and then get to the bigger stuff that actually is probably going to take up most of the conversation. So in The Rock's Black Adam movie,
Which has been postponed.
that actually doesn't surprise me. But I mean, hell, he's literally been cast as Black Adam for damn near 10 years.
Yeah.
And that is not an exaggeration. It's literally been like 7 or 8 years. So for the DC fandom thing, he, had like a little line reading thing where they show some concept art for his Black Adam film. We're gonna get the JSA in the movie, and Hawkman, Doctor Fate, fuck, who else was supposed to?
Mm.
But anyway,
I think that was the only one so far.
no, because it was some chick as well. It was like a female. It was Hawkman, Doctor Fate, a female character, and like one other person.
Wasn't that Hawk Girl?
No, it was some others. I think the I don't know. I can't remember. I'm
So it
not
could
very.
be Liberty Bell, Jesse Quick, Stargirl.
Let me just.
That's general knowledge I know from the JSA.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was an exact JSA lineup because I mean, has the JSA ever worked with fucking um, Black Adam?
Black Adam was a member of the JSA.
Oh, okay, never mind. Never mind. I'm pulling up news now. Just so I can get this. Damn, delayed indefinitely.
Oh,
Goddamn.
Cyclone.
Yeah,
It's
Cyclone.
Cyclone.
Yeah, Cyclone.
It's like Red Tornado's daughter.
God, wait, he has a. God damn it.
There's some stuff that you have to know about.
Oh, some weird shit. I didn't know it was delayed indefinitely. Goddamn.
Yeah, all of DC's movies were delayed indefinitely.
Well, shit, I know Batman got pushed back like 2022, but I didn't know. Shit.
Just picked up on filming today.
Yep. Because a whole bunch of footage and
Photos.
pictures and shit like that, yep, came out. But Black Adam Black Adam's movie has cast their Hawkman in Aldous Hodge, which is I'm really really excited for him because
You've been casting him as Black Panther for years.
yes, I wanted him as Black Panther as soon as they said that they were gonna cast Black Panther and he started campaigning for it. I was like, you know
Hmm.
what? I can see it because at the time I think he was on Leverage and he had appeared in an episode of Castle and a couple of other things. And I had previously watched Leverage on Netflix, I think, and I really enjoyed his performance in the show. So I was like, you know what? He has like he's fairly tall. I think he's like 6'1" or 6'2" or something like that. And people were going ape shit over the way that he was built in the Invisible Man. So clearly he can put on, some physique, some muscle, to look into, somewhat intimidating. So I think it's a pretty good role, and I'm really excited for him because I know he's been wanting to get into the superhero movies for a minute. So, yeah, Hawkman is going to be Aldous Hodge. Now, there was, from what I saw, like one or two tweets about people complaining about the race being changed for a Hawkman, and I can kind of understand it because it's like, oh, they might be tokenizing the character, but
Hmm.
there's also the thing of doesn't like the Danagarians or whatever their race is called, don't they basically reincarnate every few generations or some shit like that?
Every time a
Yes.
Hawk man or woman dies, they get reincarnated. So they were at one time Egyptian.
Okay.
So
So basically there's room for them to be any race.
Oh,
yeah.
for sure.
Okay. So yeah, what do you guys think about Aldous Hodge being cast as Hawkman?
Well, when bring it back when Chadwick Boseman died, I was like, based on from Leverage that what you pointed to when you were casting him for Black Panther when he was using the African accent, I was like, well, this is my front runner to take over the role. You
Yeah.
know, so relatively young, uh, a fucking fantastic actor because basically, like, even in fucking Die Hard with a Vengeance when he was a little kid, like playing Samuel Jackson's nephew, I was like, okay, you know. So I'm happy that he's going to be put more in the forefront in something like this
Hmm.
because I think he's been like a underappreciated actor. Like everybody's like give people their roses and all that shit.
Yeah.
Like he's been one of those actors that like I know about and I was like more people should know about. So
Hmm.
I don't want to get too excited because the script might be shit and
Right.
you can give great actors terrible material to work with and
Yep.
then it's out. So it's like, well, it's not his performance is what he had to work with, so on and so forth. But I'm excited that he's got the opportunity to like showcase himself on a bigger platform than what he has before.
Yeah. This will be where you talk, John.
Sorry, I'm thinking about what to say. I didn't follow. I really hadn't followed his career very much. I'd seen him, man, a couple of stuff, and then I think the last thing I saw him in was the Invisible Man, and he was a really good part of that. I mean, it was so. I think it's great. I mean, I think it's going to be one of those opportunities where after this, you're going to see a lot of people, become Hawkman fans, which. That's kind of why these movies, get released. They focus on, a new character. And when they get to focus on a new character, it becomes a fan favorite. So, and I mean, even though the Thanagarians get to reincarnate, I mean, could see him possibly down the line, being a part of any kind of future Justice League. Like, it has weight to it. So it's like he could go, for years in that role, but of course, also writing on what Bruce said is like, man, the script has to be good because, of course, this movie's been in developmental hell for 10 years, so like, it better be good.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Better be good. I
Yeah.
mean, he's hyping it up. I mean, and like the thing that I like is like I think that the team, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, whatever you want to call him, like his production team, the $7 and stuff, I think them getting involved in like the DC, extended universe or the DC film universe with Shazam and stuff like that, like I think it's kind of in good hands. If it's gonna be anything like that, where it's gonna be a fun movie, action packed, then I'm pretty confident it'll be a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I
Moving
love
on.
Shazam.
Yeah, I thought Shazam was okay. I didn't think it was super amazing, but it definitely wasn't bad. I thought it was fine. Um, Moving on, this was another story that I think kind of I added to the topic list, but I just had the article pulled up. Tatiana Maslany, I know I butchered her name, from Orphan Black, got cast as She-Hulk for the Disney Plus TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've never watched Orphan Black, but I was it's it was surprising news, and also they recently just cast Kamala Khan for the Miss Marvel TV show as well. Um, it's surprising news to me because I wouldn't have thought that we would have gotten this news this soon.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, hell, they just started back filming on Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision. So I wasn't expecting casting news for these other shows that, we told were happening, but weren't expecting to happen until, 2 years from now. So yeah, we have our She-Hulk. Um, One, what do you guys think of the casting if you guys are familiar with her? I know you are, Bruce. But two, what do you think they're going to do with the TV show? Where do you think they should do with the TV show in regards to where the MCU is at now?
So I've watched, I think like some snippets of Orphan Black just from like channel surfing, like this show looks interesting and whatnot. And the fact that she played all those characters with like the different personalities, like I thought she was British for the longest time
Mm-hmm.
because her British accent is fucking amazing. She's fucking Canadian. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Uh, but like the thing that I know her most from is like the opening of the video for the Lonely Island's Hugs, and
Hmm.
she's using the British accent again.
Oh Lord.
But um, like I made the joke when they announced it, like if Lou Ferrigno doesn't play her hulked out, then I don't want it
Mm.
because I kind of like I want to see how they do it
Mm-hmm.
because I know she's like 5'2" to 5'4" or something like that,
Really?
and yeah, and, she hulks like a cool 6'6".
Right.
But I do get why they cast her. Like they can, even if everything's fucking like slowed down and whatnot, you still want to get these people locked in for these roles. Like if you have the person in mind, you go, let's lock them down now, and then when things start rolling, we kind of have them committed already.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things that I saw when like when you said you didn't think they were like just casting people yet. But it's another one of those situations. Like, it seems like a good casting. I can't say anything until things start filming. Like, you gotta involve Mark Ruffalo somehow.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. Like, especially with okay, yeah, you can do something different, for what you have, like how she got her powers. But for me, I would like to see, the She-Hulk interact with the Hulk,
Yeah.
just because they're cousins. She's a Hulk by
Right.
blood transfusion. You kind
Mm-hmm.
of have to build into it. You just can't mention it of this is how she got her powers and then never involve Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. And it's just because that'll be a waste to me.
And I
But like
think
go
real
for
quick,
it.
sorry to cut you off. I think there was something that either Ruffalo wants to be involved or they are involving him in the show.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that though. I could be wrong, but I remember at least seeing him saying that he wants to be involved in the show whenever they do get it started.
Yeah. but I kind of like for introduction, I kind of want to have it like the Hulk cartoon where she's like the voice of reason when Hulk's just walking around savage and she got her wits ends about her. So it's kind of like the, the the dichotomy between them. It's like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's my cousin's. He's you know just a rage monster, but I'm more sophisticated. I have my wits about me, and kind of like like how I always say that how Green Lantern's supposed to be like a buddy cop movie. I kind of want to see like sort of like a buddy like a road trip type of thing between Hulk and She-Hulk. It would be like a great like how to pay homage to the original Hulk TV show by having him on the road, just going from town to town and like bonding and stuff like that. That would be pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm like I said, I'm not familiar with Tatiana's work. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm I have to see, footage and hear, possible synopsis and things like that of what the show is going to be about. Now, on the flip side, I want it to be a courtroom drama because Jennifer Walters is a lawyer. So it would be super interesting to me if it was this is gonna be a really weird combination because She-Hulk also breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah.
If it was a less intense Law and Order courtroom style type of, I know that Law and Order is a police procedural, but I
Mm-hmm.
can't think of any courtroom law TV. I
The
guess
Practice.
Was Ally McBeal a courtroom show?
I know she was a lawyer. I don't know if it's like took place
What?
specifically, but The Practice is basically, and then Boston Legal, which
Yeah,
is a
Boston
spinoff of a
Legal.
practice.
Boston Legal is the
Yeah.
other one. So I would love for it to be like a courtroom drama, like Boston Legal that had comedic elements in it because obviously she's gonna be breaking the fourth wall, and she's very, she's a smart ass, and she kind of has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I would love that, but then also having Ruffalo be involved because again, like you said, that's his cousin. I really don't see another way that they could give her the Hulk powers without including Bruce. I just can't
Yeah.
see that. Like what are you gonna do? Why on earth would she ever be how could she ever be exposed to like gamma radiation in order to get her Hulk powers? I think the only way that you can do that, unless they do some weird thing where this shit runs in the family and it's activated by
Mm-hmm.
gamma radiation. Um, how else would you be able to do it besides a blood transfusion? I think that would be a great way, especially where Hulk is at now in the MCU. He's Professor Hulk. He's Smart Hulk. He can. I don't know if they would necessarily. Well, they would probably have the budget for it because hell, they said the TV shows were going to have like movie budgets, um, so they will probably be able to do like the CG and the mocap for Smart Hulk, and then just have him interact with his cousin. She gets hurt, she needs like a blood transfusion, and it's like hey, you're her cousin. We don't have any other option right now, or else she's gonna die. And then he gives her the blood, and then turns her into She-Hulk. But she can control her transformations and shit like that. So I would love a less intense courtroom dramedy. I guess I is the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because
I don't follow. Yeah, I don't follow the actress much, but I mean, I'm really interested in see like how they're going to make it work. On a TV show, and with the Hulk being like a CGI character like that, like I'm wondering if they're gonna use maybe some kind of different technology. I mean, of course, I think it's gonna be one of those things. I don't want to compare it already to like, an Agents of Shield or something like that, but you're gonna need, one of those top dog players like Ruffalo, of course, to kind of, you know, usher everything in. And I compared like to Agents of Shield, like with Coulson coming in there, everybody knew him from the movies, and then you had, Samuel L. Jackson come in there for like a quick minute, and then you had, Stan Lee was in there for a minute. So just enough characters to kind of be like, oh, okay, this is the same universe kind of thing. And once they set that tone, she'll probably do great. So I've never been a big, huge fan of She-Hulk. I think the closest I really had a significant read on her was when she was with the Fantastic Four, but
yeah,
I think that was about it. So, but I mean, yeah, I'm excited. I mean, anything is coming out now, man. I'm excited. So, can't wait.
Yeah, and the reason why, and one of the reasons why I said it would need to be like something courtroom oriented is because it would be kind of weird if it wasn't. Because one of the big things about She-Hulk is the fact that Jennifer Walters is a lawyer as well as a superhero, and she's a superhero lawyer. And I mean that in both, like the double entendre. She's a superhero that's a lawyer, but she's also a lawyer for superheroes as well.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things. I was just going to bring that up. That's also like something that I like. You can introduce like some smaller tier Marvel characters just in like legal issues, like just by their legal name as like a nod to like fans of comics. It was like, oh, I know who that is.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, that
I
would be
love
really cool. All right, so two more topics really quick before we get to like the heavy shit. So speaking of Disney Plus series, apparently Nick Fury is getting his own Disney Plus series with Samuel L. Jackson starring in it. I don't know if they released any details. I remember when I saw like the news dropping and breaking and everything like that. I thought it was interesting because I was like, well, shit, I wasn't really expecting that. I don't know why I wasn't expecting it, but I just wasn't. Like, what is it going to be about? Have they dropped details about it?
I haven't heard any details aside the fact that it's going to be Sam Jackson that's going to be in there.
Yeah.
If I could guess anything, it'd either have to be post snap, or they could give that little backtrack time, the same thing they're doing for Black Widow. That time where Nick fell off the map. Probably did his own thing. Or
okay.
Yeah, like it could be something like that, or even at the end of Captain America Winter Soldier, well, I mean, not the end of Winter Soldier, but wasn't there something where he went off the grid like another time? I mean, it's kind of funny because like Nick always comes in and then comes out,
Yeah.
so it's not something to where like he's there. Like the most I think that anyone ever saw him, was like the Avengers. Like he was a key point in the Avengers,
Yeah.
but that was of course with Shield and everything like that. So now that Shield's done, I don't know. I think that'd be good. That whole scene where he's like, burning everything and, just he goes off the grid, trying to see like what new recruits he may have. Obviously Maria Hill'd probably be in there for sure.
Yeah.
It's a given. But yeah, that's what I thought. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. It could probably be it can either be backtracking to what he was doing in between Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron, or it could possibly be um, like what he was doing, what was going on with him. I guess in between him popping up at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home. And
well, wasn't he in the whole? He was in a good part of the movie, though, right? I've only watched that movie once, man. That's crazy.
Well, you got to think. I have to. Well, you got to think it was Talos who was portraying him in the movie.
Oh shit! Yeah.
And then at the end, he's like on vacation on the spaceship, and he's like, "All right,
Hammer."
No, I think they don't confirm it, but there's rumors that Sword is going to be popping up in the WandaVision TV show.
What?
So I'm thinking that it can either be when he went off the grid in between Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron, or it could be him getting involved or launching Sword.
I really hope now that you're bringing that to my memory, I hope it's the latter. I hope we're in space and this fool is, recruiting, but like meeting different kinds of aliens. Oh man, that's what I'm hoping for right there.
Because I think the most interesting thing about centering a show around Nick Fury is that you can bring in so many ancillary characters.
Yeah,
Like people, I remember seeing an article not too long after it got announced that, hey, this is a way to bring in Chloe Bennett's Daisy Johnson. Um, this is a way to, you can use former Shield agents.
yeah,
You can bring in parts of the cast of Agents of Shield if you wanted to. You can use, although I think with the way that the season ended, I think technically that's like a different timeline. Um, but you can use these characters. You can, have him meeting. Obviously, he still knows the scrolls, right? You can
Mhm.
use this to kind of set up, plant further seeds for um, like setting up Sword or Secret Invasion, which is what I saw a rumor that they're going to be using that for Captain Marvel too. But
That's
I don't really think that would totally work out because of the logistics of some other stuff that we know about other projects. But that was a rumor. Take it with a grain of salt. But I think I know I'm confused on what it would be about, but that's not to say that it doesn't sound interesting. I think there's a lot of potential with a Fury TV show on Disney Plus, depending on where they frame it. If you frame it in between
yeah,
Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron, I mean, hell, that's still pretty interesting because what was he doing in between that time when he was off the grid? Was he recruiting people? And if so, for what? If you do it later on when he's like in space or whatever like that, how the hell did he get onto the ship with all the possible sword people where he could switch out Talos and his wife for him and Maria Hill, shit like that. So I think it's a lot of potential. I think the Fury TV show is gonna be the secondary world building show for the MCU on Disney Plus. And I think that's what it has the
so.
potential to be, at least.
With you bringing up Secret Invasion, I was like, I can like all of those, like what you guys said with the in between posts, like setting up like bridging gaps in between, like what he was doing between movies.
Hmm.
Great ideas, but I was looking like, you know, comic book, like actual bringing research comic book in, and I can see it as a setup for either Secret Invasion, but I would like it as a setup for Secret Wars because then you can also introduce Doctor Doom, and you can just see that
Mm.
he's recruiting all like with Agents of Shield gone, he's going in and recruiting these like superheroes because that's where Quake was introduced, like
Right.
Furies, like fuck I forgot what they were called, but you can use him as like, hey, I see that you guys are out of a job, I have a job for you, and then show them invading Latveria and all that stuff,
Right.
and which would then the fucking implications of it, like everybody just like, yo dude, what the fuck is wrong with you,
Yeah.
and then have like that split between him and Maria kind of take on more of a like a chief role with being a liaison between Avengers and shit like that, like so you can go so many ways, but I would love to see that, like, yeah, you see Nick Fury setting it up, but what happens if he's using all this knowledge and espionage shit for not for good,
Right.
and that's I just think that would be a good story.
Well, you kind
Yeah.
of had those ideas. You kind of had those ideas and things in the first Avengers, like when they were like, that one scene where they all get in an argument because Cap finds out that that they were going to use the Tesseract for nuclear weapons. So it was just like, oh, so they're not the good guys, but so like who's really doing what here? So I
Yeah.
mean, I like that idea.
Yeah, like I hadn't even thought of Secret Wars. That would be that would be a really interesting way to kind of bring in Latveria and everything like that, and have it branch off into the movie some type of way, where it's like,
Yeah.
hey, you guys invaded this sovereign nation. Yeah, this ain't it. And
Hmm.
kind of starting like some shit where you don't necessarily have to. It's not like an Avengers movie, but it becomes like a Fury. What the? Do you know what you've done? This you didn't think this through. So that
Yeah.
would be a secret wars would be really interesting angle to play.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's a really interesting angle. But either way, I think they're probably setting up to do something really interesting. So
Mhm.
I'm excited to see who else they cast for the show, and if we actually get actual confirmation on the cast members, because it might be, oh, hey, this person has been cast in the Fury TV show, but we don't know who they're playing. But no, it'll be like, oh, this person is cast as Dum Dum Dugan,
Mhm.
whatever. Just throwing random names out there. But all right, the other little tidbit that I wanted to talk about really quickly is apparently we're still on the subject of TV shows.
Mhm.
Apparently, there's work on a RoboCop prequel TV show that's going to be about Dick Jones,
Okay.
and I
Really?
I kind of don't know why that's a thing, but then it's like, well, you guys they're already like making another RoboCop movie. They're working on another RoboCop movie that's not going to be related to the reboot that Joel Kinnaman starred in. They're doing another whole like RoboCop movie. It's apparently supposed to take place after the first one, which is disrespectful as hell to RoboCop 2. Um, but a prequel TV show about Dick Jones to me would be any corporate corrupt TV show that's been done before, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So I don't know exactly what they could do with a Dick Jones prequel show.
I can see it. Like I can see what you're saying, but it's also I instead of it being like Dick Jones will be like your main character, but I can see it more to flesh out the world of how OCP took over that like just became the omnipotent industry that it is.
Hmm.
And so you just see, hey, this is our new hire, Dick Jones, and then you just can see like how working in OCP changed him to him becoming the person that he is.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, I can see you can flesh out the character a little bit more, like because you had, in the original you had Miguel Ferrar's character, like, oh, this is my chance. So you can see that that's the world that exists, but how did the people get to that? So that's what I see. Like, I mean, you can also see like, hey, you can make it like the production of the Ed 209. So I kind of see it as highlighting more of the stuff that goes on in the RoboCop world or universe, and is you have like your three movies, your TV shows, your animated series. So it's kind of an established universe centered around RoboCop. And
Hmm.
looking at it from a different character's perspective, I don't know. I say it can probably add something interesting to it, at least for me, like because I love RoboCop.
Yeah.
Like first RoboCop is like I still quote it to this day, and
Classic.
it's one of my favorite movies. So I do like, if you're going to do something, kind of flesh out more peripheral characters than just like your main characters.
Hmm.
I mean, because he was really pretty much uh 80s over the top, like CEO type of thing, which
Yeah.
is what he was. But
Yeah, I guess showing the lead up to him becoming the CEO of and I don't know if there are any details about it, so I don't know how young they're gonna go or anything like that. I don't know if it's gonna lead up to basically the events of the first RoboCop movie. I'm not sure. But I guess when you put it like that, it could be interesting. But again, to me, I don't know, with him being, the corrupt, shady ass CEO that he was in the first movie.
Hmm.
I guess the only interesting angle that they could take for me would be, okay, he came in as like a normal blue collar type of person, or white collar I should say, um, like a normal white collar person. Hey, I'm here to help the business out, blah blah blah, and and he slowly becomes more cutthroat because of the environment that's been created at OCP. So I guess
Yeah.
that could be an interesting angle that they can take, but that's the only interesting angle that I can see with them doing. And even then, it to me it would still probably be leaning towards, hey, this is actually, this company has like this do good, oh, shiny image, but it's really corrupt as shit. And working here will change you. I mean, we've
Yeah.
seen TV shows like that.
True.
So I think it would still probably end up being in going in that direction. But I guess, I mean, fleshing out more of the RoboCop universe and mythos, I guess can't hurt.
No.
But just hear me out. I
Yeah,
think a Clarence Boddicker show would be way more interesting than Dick Jones.
yeah, absolutely. Seeing it's like seeing if he was always that way,
Hmm.
or if it's gonna be like the, hey, I did what I had to do in order to get by and survive because OCP basically tanked the city of Detroit, and we, didn't, we could barely fucking get by. So hey, drugs was the next best thing. Shit like that. That would be an interesting aspect too, especially if they kept like the '80s theme, the setting and shit like that, or whenever
Bro, I'm gonna
RoboCop was
be
set.
100%. I didn't know you were that hard on RoboCop. Like we legit, when you were visiting, we could have legit taken a walk like around a 3 block perimeter, and we would have been like at sets. Like, like I look out my window and I see the courthouse that
Really?
got blown up. Yup, yeah, like I'm
I didn't
not
know that
even
shit was.
surprised.
I didn't know that shit was set in Dallas.
It was set in Detroit.
It was
Well, no,
set
I
in
mean I didn't know it
Detroit,
was
but it's
filmed in Dallas.
yeah, yeah. The first RoboCop was filmed here. Like City Hall was like the police headquarters,
Okay.
and like that big ass shootout. It was in the courthouse. Like that courthouse. Like I could see well, not my apartment specifically, but I can see my building that I live in now in that movie.
That's
Like,
fucking crazy.
oh, dude, it's dope because, like, I mean, I don't use it, but like, I'll tell people like if they're looking out at the views and stuff like that. I was like, "Did you ever watch RoboCop?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, man, I fucking love RoboCop." And I'm like, "You see that building right there?" I was like, "They had that scene over here," and he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro."
Nah.
I was like,
Yeah, I wish
"Yeah,
I
I
would
was
have
get
fucking
that."
known that.
Yeah, like, bro, we could have like literally stepped outside and seen that. I didn't know you were that hard on it. Like,
Yeah, I
like first
fucking,
time ever.
yeah, like,
I mean, who
Bru-
doesn't? Don't get me wrong. Like, I
yeah, but I
didn't know,
also
like, y'all.
I also think that you have to be like very, you would have to like been exposed to RoboCop at a fairly young age to really latch on to it,
For
because
sure.
as Bruce would know, we had in Chicago, and I'm sure every major city had this as well.
Hmm.
But on Saturdays, WGN would play movies
Yeah.
late afternoon, starting late afternoon to the evening. They would
Yeah.
literally have a block where they just played movies.
Yeah, I remember
And
that channel. Yeah.
RoboCop 2, actually, I always remember seeing, and my mom had the first RoboCop on VHS. So I just thought that RoboCop was the coolest fuck. Like RoboCop 2 was cool as hell. Like you had the kid with the fucking machine gun. You had Kane in that monstrous ass suit. Um, and then the first RoboCop, obviously, classic. You had Ed 209. You had, RoboCop was just dope as fuck. So I loved
Yeah.
RoboCop growing up because I saw it when I was a kid, even though it was edited to shit. But I saw it as a
Gotta
kid, and
make
I
it
just
safe
thought,
for basic television consumption.
yeah. But seeing that as a kid, seeing this dude get turned into a robot, basically a cyborg essentially.
Oh, it was the coolest freaking thing. Like
It was the
yeah,
coolest
I went,
shit.
yeah, I went hard on that. Like that was like
So
one of those, I even watched. They had a cartoon show for RoboCop. I remember catching that often. Like,
Uh,
yeah, RoboCop went hard, man. Like I have RoboCop action figures and everything
yeah,
like
like
that. Like the original one is.
one of the first action figures I bought when we went to PMC. One of the first action
yeah.
figures I bought was RoboCop.
Oh,
I
for
was just
real?
about to bring that
Yeah.
up.
Like that's one of the first action figures that I bought when we were at PMC and we were walking around the showroom, walking around the booths and the tables and shit like that. I
I
saw Yeah, I saw RoboCop and I was like, yeah, I'm getting that RoboCop figure.
I so like the RoboCop, like I started collecting like action figures like hard in like 2014. And
Hmm.
by then NECA had already done RoboCop figures in like 2011.
Yeah,
So like by then the 3 year gap, like they were stupid price. So
yeah,
I never got one. Like the closest I got was the Frank Miller he did a RoboCop versus Terminator comic,
hmm,
and they released those a couple years, so I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get that. But just this year, this dude was selling his RoboCop loose for like 50, and I was like, man, that figure is going for like 100. I asked him, I was like, what's the catch, bro?
yeah.
And he was like, oh man, it is opened. I took it out of the box, so it's not as prestige. I was like, man, I was trying to be all like discreet about it, like, oh well, if it's out of the box, then yeah, it's got to be 50. So I was like,
Yeah,
but literally they go for like 100. I was like, man, give me that right now. So
yeah.
yeah,
Nah, but
yeah,
yeah, man,
man, I've got huge ties to RoboCop. Like that's like one of my favorite things. Like in living in the city, like you literally walk out there, and it's like if I just see the courthouse or like city hall when we like take a walk or a jog around or something like that, like I'll see it and I'll be like, damn, that's it's
that's
still there kind of thing. And not a
that's
lot of people know, like that's what I'm saying. People think like, oh, it was in Detroit. I'm like, no, it was in Dallas. It was in Dallas.
that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of action figures, I had this fucking it's always weird. I had this Terminator figure when I was a kid, and Bruce has been to my mom's house. We have this radiator at the front of the house.
Mm.
Like this radiator, it has like a cover on it. And I lost my Terminator figure and I swore that
Oh.
I left it like near the radiator, like underneath the cover of the radiator, because there was a gap at the bottom. But I remember one day I just searched so fucking long, and I was reaching under the radiator, all this other stuff, and it wasn't on, because I think it was during the summer or something like that. But I was like, where the fuck did I lose? Until this day, I have not known peace because I wonder where the fuck, like, how, where the fuck did I lose my fucking Terminator figure?
Damn.
So
That
that's just a side
sucks.
note. But yeah, RoboCop prequel TV show about Dick Jones. Um, let's get to the big stuff. I know I got a Walking Dead topic as well, but I think in thoughts on the Doom trailer that they released a few weeks ago. But I think we might be able to save that for the next episode.
Cool.
So the last two really big topics. The first one came out a few weeks ago. Um, I need to pull up his name. So Jonathan Majors from Lovecraft Country, and I'm sure he's been in some other things too, but everybody's been talking about Lovecraft Country lately. So that's probably what he's most known for right now. But Jonathan
Definitely
Majors
his
was,
breakout.
yeah, Jonathan Majors has been cast in Ant-Man 3, and it's rumored that he's going to be playing Kang the Conqueror. Now, when I saw this news, I was like, holy shit. Because what? So, open discussion. One, what do we think about the casting choice? And two, what the fuck does this mean? Because I've seen a couple of like videos on YouTube, and I
Mhm.
really hate like some of the suggested videos that I get on YouTube because it'll be theory videos, or it'll be a video of, oh, this person, they're setting up, what random name can I fucking use? They're setting up a nihilist for MCU Phase 5. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true, but even if it was, I don't know if I would want to know that.
Yeah.
And that's so damn far. Like what? Like
Yeah, and so it's like, I don't, or it'll not even Phase 5. It'll be something like, oh, they're setting up a nihilist for the next Avengers movie. And I'm like, bro, I don't know if I want to know this information right now, dog. Like, I don't.
yeah.
So so I've seen theory videos about Ant-Man 3 and Kang being involved. But what do
Mhm.
you guys think of the casting, and what do you think this means that they're going to do if it's true? Because it's only been rumored. He's cast in the movie, and
Yeah.
they've been saying that it's a villain role, and we're hearing that it's Kang the Conqueror. So what do you guys think?
So for me, like, my roommate's watching Lovecraft Country, so I'll
Hmm.
be walking in and get something to drink, and and I stand and watch. Like, he seems like a solid actor. So, like, if one thing Marvel like does with their casting, they go after magnificent actors.
Yeah.
So, as far as acting goes, I have no problem with it. If it's Kane, I just hope that it sets up Young Avengers for me because it's
Yeah.
Ant Man. You got
Hmm.
Kane, you got Stature.
Yep.
They're both Young Avengers. So like when I heard, oh Kang, I just thought Iron Lad. Like that's where
Hmm.
my mind goes because I want a Young Avengers movie so fucking bad.
Yeah.
Just because it establishes the next line, you
Yeah.
know. So you can build around like, I think the grown up Cassie. I think she's like the actress who plays her like 14. So you got some leverage to keep using her if you so decide to keep going forward with Stature and so on and so forth. But I just like when I hear that, I think of possibilities of stuff that I know exist that can possibly be used, and that's just how my mind works as a comic book fan. Like if one thing Marvel has done for me, even though like I might not agree with everything, is they do give me hope. Like they will throw me a bone to go. I know that my knowledge is familiar with that. So when you hear possibly might be Kang, my mind just goes, oh, well, young Kang was sent back in time by himself to be Iron Lad to start the Young Avengers. What if that happens?
Yeah.
That will be a good Ant Man, So that's just what I think when I heard it, and that might just have been me.
Yeah. And actually, the actress that played Cassie in Endgame, she's way older than 14.
Okay.
Um,
Uh,
but I mean, she's still probably young enough where she could probably be a young Avenger because the actress is 19. I don't know how old she was she was supposed to be in Endgame.
yeah.
Um, but she probably looks like six. She looks like she could be 16 or 17 in Endgame. So that's still in that age range where you can have young Avengers.
Mhm.
Because I think they're all either teenagers or really young adults.
Yeah.
Um, but for me, when I heard it, I was. It's interesting because you're right. It could be an Iron Lad situation where they set up young Avengers, but I was also thinking, one, I don't have an opinion on Jonathan Majors acting. I've never seen Lovecraft Country. I'm not familiar with him. I think it's an interesting choice as well, especially because obviously he's a black guy. And
Mhm.
although Kang doesn't have a race, he's literally a blue nigga in a purple and green jumpsuit with a helmet. Um, I think it's still interesting as well, especially Kang is a character that people have been clamoring for to kind of be one of the next big bads of the MCU.
Yeah.
So the fact that they literally cast him in the third Ant-Man movie, that tells me, all right, they got plans. What are they?
Mm-hmm.
Because Peyton Reed already said that they were going to go a little bit more crazy for the third film, and this basically confirms it because the potential now. You have a couple of ways, you have a couple of different directions that you can go. You can go in the direction that you said. They could be setting up Young Avengers. Kang sends a younger version of himself back to be Iron Lad,
Mm-hmm.
teams up with Cassie, Hulkling, things like that. Or for me, it's like, well, that what does that mean with regards to how they're going to use the quantum realm now? We just saw them time travel in the quantum realm. Does that mean that Kang is going to be traveling through he's found now that they've opened the opportunity, the possibility of traveling through the quantum realm to different points in time? Is Kang going to be doing the same thing? What does he want? What's going on here? Things like that. And one of the videos that I saw, one of the titles of the video that I saw, I didn't actually watch it. It said that Kang. Now we know that in the quantum realm there's like a city. It's been Peyton Reed has said that there civilization in the quantum realm. There's like a small city, and you can even see it, what looks like a small city in the film. There's been videos done where you freeze frame it, little Easter eggs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the title of the video was like Kang is the like overseer of the quantum realm city, and I was like, oh shit, that's yeah, that's a possibility. Because what could you like? How else? This nigga just cooling, and it's like, nah, y'all being a little bit too disruptive. What y'all doing? Like that's an angle that you can go.
Yeah.
He can be. He doesn't even have to be the conqueror. He could just be Kang. He could just be like the tyrant of this little quantum realm city. You got people passing through the shit, and it's like, nah, what y'all doing? Y'all disrupting too much shit. Y'all got to stop this. And it can be like an inverse of that Earth's Mightiest Heroes episode where he came back to kill Captain America because his future is in, he came from this dystopian future because one of the Avengers kind of led it down that way. He's like, oh, this is your fault, Captain. And it's like, oh shit. All right. This could be one of those type of things where it's like, nah, y'all fucking shit up. Like shit is changing now, and I don't like it. So y'all gotta dead that shit. This can literally be that. So I'm interested to see how they're gonna use them because it can instantly be, hey, they fucking all this shit up. I need to send. I need to go. Look, y'all finna tell me how y'all did this, or I already know how to do it. Yeah, let me go ahead and send a plant back to kind of tear this team from the inside, or
Mm-hmm.
kind of change direction so we're not living in this weird like type of future thing. Who knows? But potential is limitless with the introduction to Kang.
I agree.
Agreed. Straight up agreed. So I actually do watch Lovecraft Country. It just
Yep.
seemed kind of like one of those out there shows, and
I
started
mean,
on
yeah,
the pilot.
it's based on
Yeah,
H.P. Lovecraft work,
yeah,
which I
yeah.
think is
So
ironic because I saw some people say that he has a not so great history,
no, no.
regarding
Yeah, it
regarding
is
people
very
of color.
negative. Yep.
So I think it's kind of
Nope. You're
ironic
right.
that he has that there's a TV show based on his work starring black people.
Yeah, I mean, it's a trip, dude. Like, it is totally a trip. But I mean, HBO's been on this like kind of thing too, where they're like, they're really showing out, you know, for that culture. Because I mean, the Watchmen show was very, very ingrained
Yep.
in that.
Yep.
Like shit. The pilot was Tulsa Massacre that I almost was like kind of embarrassed because I was like, I'm 30 something years old. How am I just now hearing about this? Like,
Oh, a
why
lot of
wasn't
people are
I
like that.
shown?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people that don't know about that.
Yeah, but like that was just that was a little kind of moment, night that I had there where I was just like, yo, how did we not, learn about this in school? Like you
Hmm.
learn about, 1940s, you learned about, the Holocaust, you learn about all that. So it's like, you know, this is history,
Hmm.
this is not something that you can just, sweep under the rug and not say like, oh, we didn't know or we didn't say, what. But
Yeah.
anyways, the show itself, Jonathan does an amazing job, as a lead and someone who, like, he's not very recognizable, so I think that's a big plus.
Hmm.
Honestly, like, I'm not sure. Usually when it comes to casting the Marvel movies, I'm like, eh, I could see it. But like with him, when I saw it and they were putting like pictures, I was like, oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Like, I see why they casted that dude. I was like, I see it. I was like, cool. So I think it's good. Like I said, some of the best, Marvel villains have been people, Tom Hiddleston, like guys who weren't really like known. Maybe they had like a breakout role or something like that. But
Hmm.
then when they went into their respective movie, it's like, boom, they just charged it in. So
Yeah.
like now you can't think of Tom Hiddleston or see Tom Hiddleston without thinking of Loki.
Right.
Like at all. So I think, like Bruce was saying, Marvel just, they pick really good actors. They pick people who become, that person. Like even me, I was the biggest skeptic uh with Chris Evans because I was like, man, how are they gonna cast the Human Torch? And like, man, he's already been in one, and I had like every complaint under the sun, man. Like I was like, he's too young. How are they gonna do that? He's a comedic actor. He's been in funny stuff, and while Captain America, the first one, wasn't my favorite, by the time you get to Winter Soldier, you're like, oh, okay, they saw long term. Here I
Yeah.
am just thinking about this one movie, and
Hmm.
then now by Endgame, you're like, okay, yeah, man, that's fucking Captain America there. Like, there ain't no
Yeah.
bones about it. Like, he's Cap. Like, he's kind of little mild age in the face and the Civil War. Like, come on, man. Like, that's Cap.
Yeah.
There's no bones about it. So that just a testament to Marvel choosing, their actors. But yeah, man, I'm super excited because I do like, he's a good actor. I think whatever he's going to be in, he's getting roles that are kind of like tailor made for him. So I think with them picking him this far in advance, I think they're setting him up to be like a long-term villain, not just
Yeah.
somebody that's going to be, your statistical villain that dies at the end kind of thing. Like he ain't
Hmm.
going nowhere for a while. So
Yeah.
good on them. Mad good on them.
What do you think it means for the MCU as far as what plans
MCU.
they have?
Well, I think that was already, people were already talking about Kang when they just included the quantum realm and time travel.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of on the board with everybody else, Young Avengers. I mean, it's kind of like the stable. So I think at this time right now, because especially with what's going on right now, the MCU is kind of in a flux. It's just gonna be like, okay, what's next? We took these people that were like B and C level, brought them up to A. Now who's next in line? And it's actually, to me, kind of out of left field because my main thing when people are like, when people would ask me, okay, like, what are you doing? What would you do now with the MCU? My direct response is like, well, they have the rights to the X-Men back, right? And
Right.
people will be like, well, yeah, that's where I would go. I would start just focusing on the mutants and focusing on, all that. But for them to focus on a new crew that's not very very heard of. I mean, it's classic Marvel, so it's like I understand it for sure, and I'll
Mm,
welcome it, because they're gonna make some new heroes, and they're gonna make them as popular as ever. I mean, it's just that's Marvel just has that magic Disney touch, man.
yeah,
So I'm game.
yeah.
I'm game.
Yeah, really, especially in an Ant-Man movie. So, you're gonna have some smart aleck stuff. You're
Hmm.
gonna have some, but I think Ant-Man 2, which I don't know why people hate,
Neither
but I
do I.
think I think Ant-Man 2 does a really good job of having the villain of the film not be like wisecracking. I don't think many people realize that. Ghost wasn't cracking jokes and being a smartass in that film.
That
She was
was
literally,
actually probably most the quietest type of villain. Like if I look at all of them, like there wasn't a lot that she said, like at
yeah,
all.
because it was like, look, I have this condition. It hurts. If this Janet woman you're speaking of has been absorbing quantum energy that's gonna keep me alive. I'm sorry, she has to go.
Hmm.
Like, and she's literally on a beeline to do whatever she needs to do in order to siphon build that machine and siphon the energy once she figures out what their plans are. So I think, and I mean, hell, even the fact that when Scott got trapped in the quantum realm at the end of Ant-Man 2, he was collecting energy for Ghost to stabilize her. So I think that's setting up some other shit as well. But I think Kang is definitely the type of villain where you can have him say something that's funny, but it's funny because it's like, oh, this nigga is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, just like the whole like the example that I use from Earth's Mightiest Heroes when he had that exchange of telling them one of you guys caused this. And they're like, what are you talking about? We wouldn't do this. And then he looks at Captain America and says, oh, Captain, this is your fault. I can see that being executed in on screen and it coming off funny. But then it's one of those fridge moments where the impact hits you later. It's like, yeah, that's funny the way that it was, the delivery and everything like that. But he's seriously talking about killing this person to stop the future that he came from. That's not funny.
Yeah.
So he's definitely the type of villain that has that presence. That's like, yeah, I can say some shit that might come off as funny, but I'm serious. Is we all know a person that says shit that we find funny, and it's funny because we know they're dead fucking serious about it. Kang is that person that I can
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
coming off as that. It's like, oh yes, I'm going to literally wipe this timeline of you guys' annoying presence. And just saying it, just however he delivers it will be funny as hell. But it's like he's dead fucking serious. I think you guys need to go ahead and plan out, the attack. So, he won't kill you guys. But, that's just me. Moving on, the other big news that we just got last week is twofold. So Jamie Foxx is in talks. I don't know if it confirmed that he signed on officially, but Jamie Foxx is in talks to reprise his role as Electro in Sony's third Spider-Man movie, which is weird. But then a couple of days later, we got that Doctor Strange is gonna pop up in the Spider-Man movie as well. And so now basically we are getting confirmation that they're going to do a live action Spider-Verse. Um,
Okay.
because, I think Spider-Man 3 is in between WandaVision and Doctor Strange too. And
Mhm.
WandaVision leads straight into Doctor Strange. It might be scheduled after it. I'm not sure. But anyway, I think this is a now we all know Doctor Strange 2 is titled Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And
Mhm.
Yeah,
there's
man.
there's been plenty of theories that WandaVision ends with Wanda basically tearing apart the universe and kind of fucking up the multiverses. So I think with Electro being cast in Spider-Man 3, and there was a post that on Instagram that Jamie Foxx deleted, basically saying that he wasn't going to be blue this time.
Yeah.
Um, I think that this is basically like Wanda does something. I think this is the House of M moment, right? They're not specifically
Mm.
setting up House of M, but I think it's
Mhm.
that moment where she loses her mind. It doesn't have to be no more mutants. Obviously, we don't have mutants in the MCU yet. Um, but whatever, it doesn't even have to be her saying a line and
Well, you,
just kind of fucking up everything. I think this is the moment where she has a mental break where she fractures the multiverse and we start getting like this obviously branches off across the entire MCU. And in Spider-Man's movie, you get these characters popping up. So it's like so Electro pops up. You have Tobey Maguire Spider-Man pop up. They need to lose. Bruce already know where I'm going. They need to lose Andrew's number and just not tell him that this is what they do. I don't want him anywhere near this fucking film. But you got all these characters that start popping up in Spider-Man's film, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? And then Doctor Strange in it, he's like, yeah, this is not good. So this is what we're gonna do. And there have been reports that Doctor Strange is supposed to be Spider-Man's new mentor, and people are kind of upset about that because Spider-Man doesn't. One I've seen one group say that they're basically turning Peter into Miles by
Mhm.
kind of giving him a mentor, giving him Genki as a friend, who is basically what Ned is.
Yeah.
Um, and then the other, I've seen other people say that Spider-Man is very much a loner. He's trying to do everything on his own. But what I say to that is that people shouldn't be surprised. I'm not whether or not you think it's good or bad. That's not the argument I'm making. What I'm
Mhm.
saying is you shouldn't be surprised that this is happening because when they cast Doctor Strange, one of the main rumors or reports that we were hearing is that they're looking for an actor who can carry the franchise, the MCU franchise, after Iron Man leaves. So why are you surprised that Doctor Strange is rumored to be his mentor?
Yeah.
right.
Like,
That doesn't make any sense to me. Wow, you shouldn't be surprised that this is happening. Again, I'm not making an argument that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying this shouldn't be a surprise. But what were you about to say, Bruce?
so I looked at it at multiple, like, with everything that we know.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, Multiverse of Madness, WandaVision,